to fight Sidney, and then the winner of this is going to take a shot at Corey. If Corey wins, he wins the whole tournament. If whoever beats Corey, uh, we'll put Corey into the losers bracket also. Now, everyone who have a loss, that means whoever wins the match after that is going to take the whole tournament. Now, because of time
Time
restraint,
reasons. Yeah, it's gonna be like a
I'm
regular best of 3, right?
yeah, it's gotta be a regular best of three because the shop's gotta close. It's Sunday, and then the guys have to fly back. So
Yeah, yeah.
uh, we want to make sure that it's gonna get done in time. And then after that, we'll do the price split, which is going to be the thoughts that the place I've put into the tournament. The well, the first place will take the first pick at whichever thoughts they want out of the group. Then the second place will get a pick, and then the third place will get a pick. Then that guy's done, and then the first player will get another pick, and then second place gets a pick, and that is it. The rest goes to the first place.
See, okay.
Yep.
Oh,
So
that's exciting.
yep. It's gonna be fun. I guess we're ready to go into the game. So, Steven, can you throw us up into the player match, please? All right. Steven, let them know they can dice roll and then start the process.
Yeah, let me.
A one.
Okay, so they're picking the order of their lists, right?
Yeah. So I think Christian won the dice roll considering that Sidney rolled a one.
Probably.
So he's picking his first deck. Wait,
They.
I'm confused. Hold on, I'm confused. Whoa, did he not win the dice roll? Wait, who won the dice roll? I did. We did low roll. Oh, you did low roll.
Sydney
I'm telling you,
Sydney cannot do a standard roll to save his life. Okay, he's got to do low roll. He's got to roll
and
ducks. He
he knew
cannot do
it.
standard high roll.
He knew the meta. Look, Sidney knew the meta, and the reason why he's throwing out his FedEx is because he did low roll, so he
Yeah,
won that roll.
it's
Well done,
classic Sydney.
classic Sidney. Well done. So because he knew the meta that he rolls low, he went with the low rolls, and then he picked first with his modifier, and then Christian was countering with what I think is mono ice. Yeah, that's the mono
Yes,
ice.
it looks like the mono ice based on the Bahamut being in that list.
Yep, and
Uh,
then there's gonna be so he's throwing out warriors. I believe that is fire warriors. That's the list he's been liking over the ice.
both variants are strong.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
can't go wrong with either. Yeah.
Yeah, but fire ice warriors was not so good in my opinion. However, fire Simo warriors is pretty good.
I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with any type of deck. I don't think it really matters what your secondary element is. 70% of your deck is going to be fire regardless.
Yeah,
Um,
he chose. Is that Monowind
I think that's Monowind. Yeah, it's an interesting choice
choice?
to pair into the Warriors. Warriors, I think, generally has a pretty favorable matchup in Monowind. But
Um, it's pretty even honestly. I play a lot of Monowind, and I personally don't mind Monowind into the Warriors. But that's assuming that you play a lot of Monowind and be comfortable on it. So I don't know how comfortable he is on that list.
yeah. So then looks like we're getting the Bart's Refia into Monowind, and then I can't see the top list right now. Looks like Cat 8 and Chaos Arc.
Uh, yes, I believe so.
Oh, okay, that should be an interesting matchup.
Mhm.
Okay. So is there any one of these matchups that you're specifically looking forward to, D, or do you think
Um,
do you think any
well,
of them got a favorable draft here?
Yeah, so honestly, it looks kind of even, depending on how they play the decks. The first one, the mono ice, is really good into the modifier unless the ice breaks. If if the ice player breaks and then the fire player gets two Mount Leonis, it's not gonna look close. But if he doesn't get to Mount Leonis, then you know, Ice is gonna do ice things. Simo's gonna do Simo things, and then it's gonna shut out pretty quickly. Now, however, the game two, that mono wind into the Tivus, I'm very interested in because that game at a high level can swing pretty differently depending on how much you understand of that matchup and how fast you get to the into the ace into you going to removals and forcing thing Ama to come out of your hand and then ace coming in and wipe everything. So I'm very interested in the second game. What about you, Toy Kelly? What do you think?
Well, for game one, this is going to be probably pretty slow, right? Like, this is not an aggressive ice deck, really. It's pretty slow. It's got a lot of control tools. Like, you want to ramp your backups, right, to get stuff like Kurasame online. And the fire deck obviously is not fast either, so both of them are going to have all the time they need. Um, I honestly don't know who I would want to be in this matchup. It's very interesting. For the Warriors, I it's very swingy, right? Because like the Warriors can get to a game state where it's really hard for the mono win player to do anything, right? Between cards like Mog and Yuzuki, like preventing the Luso damage and preventing like Citra searches. Uh, it could be pretty brutal, but also sometimes the mono win player just has just everything and can just combo through all that. I've seen it go both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do
Yeah,
agree
but
with this.
look at this pile of LB cards. So as someone who hasn't played this format, it's very funny seeing the massive amount of LBs and for knowing like because normally when you're playing the game like you're counting your opponent's LBs and like okay after they've done a Tidus and like an ultimate weapon I don't need to worry about anything for the rest of the game, but knowing I can get ultimate weapon a second time or a third time after that is just so brutal.
And it's a very big part of the game, right? It's because also as once you sit down and you actually play a Worlds game, and then you start removing the early the early LBs, you're going to see that oh yeah, you have like 30, you have an entire stack, and then you're gonna be like, okay, so I can just move stuff. It'll be easy. I want to play Zidane LB to get a draw, and then I'm going to remove my other Zidane, and then once you get to like game four, five, six, you start to look at your LBs and you're thinking, I did not want to remove my second Zidane. I did not want to remove the first Titus because I have two and I'm down to one. If I play it, I'll have another Zidane. I mean, another Titus, and then same thing with Ace. I watched Sidney 2 days ago on Friday night because he hung out. He came to Houston and he hung out with us, played some Warlords game, and I saw him play Ace. He was like way ahead. He played Ace and he removed the other Ace, and then that Ace ended up dying. He did not get the kill off the first Ace, and he ran into the spot where if he had the second Ace in his LB on the very first game, he would have won straight up. And then he removed it, and I was like, "Hey, Sidney, remember that ace that you removed earlier?" He's like, I need it right now. And so like it's not even like going down to like game 4 5. Sometimes within the same game itself, you're removing LBs that you did not want to. So like you do have to plan a little bit for some of these LBs, especially the ones that's common, um like uh
like
like the
Leo.
yeah, the Leo, the Titus, the Lunafreas, the Clouds, even the Clouds is very very important. It's one of the best LBs.
Yeah.
The one thing that deals with Yuzuki, for example, right? So those are like very very important. And then he just didn't. Like some people, especially when you just like the format, you don't think about like the LBs until like later on.
Yeah, like this is not a sprint. This is very much a marathon, and you need to be pacing yourself with that. I saw something that I thought was interesting. Was well, that is a very pricey way to kill a Seymour. One of the things that I thought was interesting was that Sidney and Cristian didn't try to get their Refias as one of their early picks. So one of the nice things about having a Refia as one of your first choices is that Refia has some LBs, specifically the wall LB, that isn't really being used by any other decks. So by having Refia be used early, if you manage to win with your Refia early, uh, you now know that all those Wallabies, any extra Wallabies there, are free tosses, and you don't need to worry about like holding them for later because you don't know if you'll need them later. So like playing decks with unique LBs in your earlier rounds can be useful
Yeah,
for pacing yourself and making sure that you have the more generic LBs later on and you don't like blow them all early.
absolutely. And then it's one thing that did happen with the game against from me and goal. He went Refia pretty early with the belts and everything, and from there he just the Warrior of Lights LBs. He just kind of like starts to ship him off because he's like, I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. I don't need this anymore. So he does even mention while he was like removing him, he had a meant to note that was his first time playing. He meant to note like I don't need these. For these players specifically, also right now in this game, so we do have mono 5 versus mono ice, right? So the mono decks do have a very specific LBs. For example, mono Leonis. Once you're done, if you win with the modifier deck, you're done with mono Leonis. It's the same thing with Christian's list. You have Katsif and playing a mono 5 versus mono ice. It's gonna be two control trails. Once you're done with the mono ice and you win with it, the Katsifs they can all go. So
Yeah,
it's something that these players keep in mind too.
yeah. That is true. That these lists, I forgot about that. That these lists also have unique LBs, so it's similar to the Refia list. So this is, yep, as we mentioned, both players had all the time in the world to set up the resources. Despite the fact that Sidney traded pretty unfavorably into the Seymour, he was able to use Zonde to kill a Charlotte, which was a nice way to get back in the resource game, put him up a little bit. Um, and they're both just curving out really nicely. At this point, now that Christian's at 5 backups, he can get Kate Sith down at any moment and just start ripping apart Sydney's resources. But on the same token, once Sidney gets to 5 backups, which I'm sure he will be soon, all of his removal becomes so much more efficient, right? The Ifrits are now dealing the one mana deal basically 10k to anything or split to 5k twice. Jacked becomes only 1 mana. Uh, and here we go. Looks like Sidney maybe doesn't have the backup in hand, and he's just trying to cycle with this Clive.
Yeah. Also, right now, we've reached the point where Christian has 5 backups, and that means things in his hand are not safe. If you on top of the Kurosame 7,
Yeah, yeah,
things are different, right? But
yeah. I mean,
I think he recognizes this, and that's why he's trying to get the draw and trying to get to his final backup. And then see, he's building counter resistance right now. I don't think he's really worried about anything other than his hand, right? So if he's gonna do something, he's got to see he's building counts to get the fifth backup. He knows that Kurosame is a possibility right here.
yeah. I also really like getting the what's her face down, the Fang down, because now he's also just threatening removal anytime. Because like now both the Clive and the Fang are threatening to kill something like a Seymour or a Kurosame. You don't really like letting Kurosame like sit on the board for multiple turns because his special is actually pretty good. It's basically just like a budget Spitflare. Uh, and just having something to get him off the board so you know your actual threats can stick is nice.
Absolutely. Right now, honestly, I favor the modifier at both double 5 backups, and then you haven't gone Kurosame yet. I do favor the modifier, but here we go. Just like we talked about it, the KSF is gonna come down. It's gonna get the value off right off the bat, lock in the fire player, and he's going to see what he's going to fire back off with.
Yeah. Luckily, not all of Sydney's backups were dulled on his previous turn, so he will, have one backup for his next turn. But still, spending 6 to, remove effectively 6 mana from your opponent is obviously really nice. It's an even trade at worst while you're also getting the body. Let's see, what does he choose to get rid of it? A Bahamut. Uh, hmm. Sadly, they're holding their cards at an angle that I can't really see what they've got going on in there. So trying to predict what plays they're going to make each turn is not easy.
Little difficult, yes.
Yeah, a little difficult. Um,
Yeah, there's the Kurosame.
there's the Sydney is very happy to see that go into damage right now. He's a
You know,
hand full of cards that he probably does not want to discard. Although at this point, I don't think we've seen an Amat hit Sidney's break zone, and he's drawn like quite a few cards and like thinned out his deck a decent amount, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if he has an Amat in there to somewhat minimize the pain of a Kurosame.
Yep. So Gio comes in for 1 mana heal. That's a pretty good play. Let's see if he's going to armor this. He does not. So he don't freezes the jet and expecting to not kill it, I believe. And I think he's gonna want to hit the Fang and the Clive here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Priming. There we go. So we're going to assume there's no Amaterasu in Sydney's hand because that is something that I believe he would want to keep a bold presence. So with all his foes gone except for the jet that is dull frozen, he is no longer in control of the board.
Yeah, yeah, that was not not a great situation there for Sydney, but it could have been worse.
Uh,
And he has a lot of cards in his deck that just clear up this Shiva with no problem, right? He has
uh, let
Phoenix, Clive.
let's go ahead and mention the fact that he has a Celestia Shinryu in play. That does give a very, very big boost to Mono Ice versus Mono Fire. As a backup that can pump his. Yes, I think he's asking about it. So there's
Yeah.
that backup right there. So like, if you run into the situation where you forget that that
The
backup boosts your things up, and then you trying to Clive for 10k and expect to kill it, and then
oh
just
yeah,
swing, it's going to put a very, very big damper on your plans here.
that is true. That backup is kind of almost like the water Minwu backup, but like 10 times worse for dealing. Something I've been experimenting with a lot is the Dark Shinryu backup, the one that you can, the crystal one that lets you spend a crystal to pump something by 5k, and I can tell you that it blows people out of the water when they forget about it, and you just get this massive power bump that they're not expecting. Um, People often say that power doesn't matter, but you think that until it does.
Yeah. So, if you're in a situation where everything is going to be like you're putting a bunch of aggro decks with like let's say Scions or even Warriors, right? And everything that's like that is named Axter, you use a key, Ishtura, or even Fire Winds are done, the threats, and then the things that's just very big annoyance and hindrance to you, then you can just cloud away. So you really never think about the power of those cards, right? But then when you're going to a matchup where Fire can get to 5 backups and shoot things for 5k for with one single CP, or anytime a Clive comes in and then it burns for 10k, or even when you Amaterasu, right? When you Amaterasu in effect, uh, and then you're going to do AK to something to kill it and get off the board while canceling its effect. Well, that AK doesn't matter anymore as much if the body stays in play. Like for example, the Xenos in this case, he came into play. He going to remove a card from the break zone, and he's going to discard a card. And the Amaterasu is going to save you from the removals and discarding. And but it does not kill the Xenos because now the Shinju Celestia is going to prevent the 8,000 damage from killing a 7k that actually became 11,000.
Yeah. Well, the awkward thing here for Sydney is that while he may have stopped the removal from his break zone from the Xenos, there's still that Edward setting up, right? So Cristian can still trigger that anytime he wants just by tapping that Edward and removing a different card.
Absolutely, and yeah, the fact that it hasn't triggered yet. I hope he doesn't forget that he's going to be losing a card this turn, because sometimes when you do the Xenos and then you discard the card, you're like, okay, well, it happens once a turn, so it's not a big deal. It happened, but it hasn't happened yet. So if he forgets that he needs a specific card in his hand, he's going to pay for it. But here we go and we see a Phoenix.
Yeah. Um,
Yo, Shiva.
yeah, interesting he killed the Shiva. I probably would have gone for the Xenos there. Sydney's probably not thinking of the Xenos getting long-term value. Um, but that he has the capacity to continue discarding cards out of his hand. I would have liked to have the Phoenix target the Xenos also because it would have forced out the Edward trigger if you wanted to get the discard, which meant that you could have potentially actually followed up with a Montleonis. I imagine that Sidney is trying to hold off on using Montleonis
Oh, I think he
until
just realized.
after. Yep, until after
He,
the Edward is tapped.
he just realized it hasn't happened yet, and now yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. He doesn't realize that he hasn't discarded yet from it, so it hasn't traded yet. So he's about to lose that one card right now.
Yeah, but no, he has an Ifrit.
Okay, cool.
So
Then,
Sidney is able to win the stack war and kill the Xenos before the Zonde was removed from the game, preventing the Xenos trigger from going on the stack.
really nicely done.
Yep, as expected of Sidney. um, so Sidney's been able to keep his pressure up. We'll see. Are we going for another
Uh-oh.
Kate Sith? Oh no,
That's not
just a
Dion.
raw Bahamut. Oh, you hate to
That is
see
not
it.
Dion. Oh, that is not Dion. That is
That
definitely not Dion.
so that's one of the dangers of running the light and dark primers.
Yep.
You cannot just discard Bahamut or Odin for CP. You have to. They are still special fodder, but if you don't draw the Dion, it's not good special fodder.
It's not good special photo. However, it's we're gonna say this is it's a bad situation. Making something good out of a bad situation. That at the end of the day, that Bahamut is still a 10k brave. That is it's not a bad body. So we're going to see some not so optimal uh, plays, trying to get some value off of him.
Yeah. So what Sidney's doing here, attacking with the Jack, is he's offering to trade Selfie for the Bahamut. He's seeing that he has the damage lead, and he's trying to pressure and continue getting damage in. I don't know if I would attack with the Phoenix here. As much as you want to get the damage in, Phoenix's body is really nice. Just having an instant speed blocker or attacker that more or less cannot be interacted with. I believe this ice list has no monster removal, so he's just going to sit there until he can safely get the hit in.
Yeah, so offensively, Phoenix is something fun to throw in because he's just gonna get in full damage. But defensively, it is one of the things that you don't get to have a slow speed removal on, like the other rest of your foes. Your foes are always at the risk of being dull frozen, dulled, because a lot of cards in Ice says when it ETBs, it's going to dull freeze a fold. While Phoenix is not something you can just hit out with a soul removal, but because it can activate during combat and then go in and block. So it gives you a lot of safety. It's a nice safety net.
Okay, so yep, so we have the Wu Clement dealing 9k to the Bahamut, followed by Cloud coming in for an additional 10k. That's a little bit of an overkill.
And he's targeting the two Xenos.
Yeah.
He's done with him. He's tired of the skulls. Okay.
Yeah, I imagine that Sidney was trying to play around the Shinryu Celestia pump, which get him up to 14k. But he could have done that with like a Zack, still would have gotten him there. Although it wouldn't have gotten him there if he specialed the Zack. Or the Wook for that matter. So Sidney was playing smart around the special in the hand. Which makes sense. You wouldn't expect Cristian to commit the Bahamut to field unless he already had the special in hand. But notably, that means that all of the Dions are also just bricks. He's only running the two Bahamut, so none of those can prime for the rest of the game.
Very, very true. At this point, Sidney has both the advantage on the board, and it does look like Christian's deck is going to be able to handle the rest of the onslaught from the modifier here.
Yeah. Yeah, importantly, next turn, Sidney can just slam Montleonis, and there's not really Cristian can do about it. He can remove one of the two targets with his Edward, but the other one is still just going to come in and hit him in his face. And seeing as he's at damage 4, only 3 things need to hit. So he would have to get multiple blockers out of the way.
Cristian is digging into his LB. I'm not too sure if that is very, very necessary. Considering the ball state, right? So if he has something else in his hand that's gonna keep him in the game, I will respect it. But if you're in the game where you know, like 99% sure you're going to lose, there's not a reason to burn your LBs here.
Yeah, I really hope there's something in his hand that does something. But considering he needs to hold this Edward up, right, to prevent another attacker from coming down, that means he would only have, what, 2 mana to cast it? It would need to be like a Laswell or something. It would need to be something small. Maybe you could Zack something else to keep yourself alive for one more turn. But then all these things that you're summoning just to stall out are just going to die. And then you're just going to die the following turn, right? So all you're doing is slowing the bleeding, which isn't really great when Sidney's just going to keep like storming ahead.
Yeah, we're also in a situation if at least without the mana, you know for sure that Malinos is not gonna come in the fall this turn, but unless he draws Curse, I mean, like literally the turn after this again, I don't see him going to have an impact or a way to stop the Malinos after this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how many Kate Siths are in that LB deck, but you can't. It can only be one more, and if you blow another one, that's going to make it even rougher for the rest of the games if you don't manage to pick this one up.
Yep, this is definitely not what you want to invest a lot of your LBs if you're that far behind. We'll see how he pays off for him and see what he draws to.
Yeah, so Shinryu buffs by 4K. I believe selfies by 3K. How big is Kate Sith again? Is he an 8K or a 9K?
He's an 8K.
He's
He's
an
might be 8 + 4. That'd be 12 total.
Yeah, okay. So that means that when he attacks with all of these are 9Ks on Sidney's board, which means that if he does block, the selfie will cause a trade to occur. Interesting to choose this on the Ject compared to the Phoenix. Okay, so now we're removing 4 cards from the Breakstone to animate Phoenix, getting in there for the 5th point of damage. Sorry, this 6th point of damage. The 6th point of damage. And Cristian really hates Ject, apparently. I think that's the 3rd Ject he's removed from the game.
That's not even the Leonis target. Why are you removing Jet? It's not even the Leonis target. I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't know why we've been removing the Jects. Maybe we're afraid of those getting cast for free off of Minwoo
The
FFBE.
yeah, the main yeah, that's the only reason. But like right now, you're worried about the Leonis just ending your life. So
Yeah. Well, luckily, Leonis is not currently online because Sidney had to sacrifice his backup.
okay, here's a defensive Rufus.
You hate to see it. Using Rufus just to freeze a forward doesn't feel like a great use of resources. It's like Laswell at home.
I see a store in his hand.
The problem is, even if you play Y'shtola, it doesn't even kill anything.
Yeah, it does not kill anything. So this is Dion as a
Yeah.
body, as a blocker. Okay.
Okay. So Sidney just needs to get 1 point of damage in here. With 4 cards in hand, if he were to play a 2 mana backup, he would have the exact enough resources to get a Leonis down here, which would just win the game on the spot. So let's see if he's got a 2 mana backup. He's got a 3 mana backup that draws a card. That does it.
That does the job.
It also kills Rufus while it's at it. So it extremely does the job. He might not even need to commit the Leonis here. If he can just kill. Oh, yep. There we go. That's game. Yeah, better to save resources when you don't have.
If you don't need to burn the LBs and get the job done, you don't burn the LBs and get the job done.
Yeah. Notably, Sidney. I don't think Sidney used a single LB that game. So he's going to be stuck at 32 still, or he's going to stay at 32 where he wants to be. Whereas Cristian burned 8, going down to 24. That's a third of his LB down the drain.
8 is a massive amount, and on game
especially in a game you lose.
1. Yeah.
You hate to see it.
I was very okay with the very first case of, which makes sense because he's fighting over the game. But when you got to the point where he was so far behind and just at risk of losing the next turn, anyways, it was definitely a choice to offer an extra 4 LBs to your opponent right off game 1.
So going into round 2, was this the Warriors versus Mono Win match?
This is going to be. Did Cristian send the? It's gonna be Fire Warrior versus Monowin, yes.
Yes. Okay. Interesting. So I'm assuming Cristian will be going first.
Losers has a choice, so yes, he has a choice to go
Yeah.
first. I will assume so too.
Yeah. Warriors is a deck that very much likes going first, being able to get your first backup down, to get Tyvis down on turn 2, whereas it often feels forced to play Tyvis before your opponent's second turn. It depends on the matchup, but the earlier you can get a Mog onto the board, generally speaking, the more devastating it is as a card. So being able to get Tyvis down before your opponent can play any of the cards they wanted to use to search is really important. So looks like we both kept. I imagine there's like a Larsa or a Naji in Cristian's hand. Ferris Infuriate for Sarah. Okay. Looks like
There
we're
you go.
going for Edgar or Lena.
And he has a
Edgar.
land.
Edgar.
Alright,
Okay.
cool. That's
Okay.
out.
There's Edgar. Oh yeah.
He has land in hand.
So it looks like we're going for a backup ramping strategy rather than just jamming an early Tyvis. Although there could also just be a Tyvis in that hand that we just want the Edgar for the fire mana to cast.
That is possible, but I do think that it's going to be he's going to go to 3 backups before doing another spell. So the getting the Tyvus on turn 2 is fantastic and very necessary. However, if you do get Sarah into Edgar into Lena as a turn 2, that is very forgivable because going to turn 3 you're going to be a lot stronger into the economy game if it is gonna be a back and forth game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One of the strengths of the warrior deck is its ability to play both the short game and the long game.
Oh, the struggle with Sam, that is one of the best turn 1 you can have as a model winning player because it will search you for the fat chocobo and the fat chocobo guarantees you the chocolate unless you draw her.
Yeah, I don't like calling him Fat Chocobo. You know, he's just big boned. You know.
He is big boned. He is primed to make a fine meal if you ask me.
No, no,
He's
no, no, no,
very
no,
very
no.
tasty out there.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
no, we don't eat the Fat Chocobo. Just too many feathers.
He's too cute. Okay, okay. He plays it.
He just jammed it turn 1. Okay, Sidney probably has had psychic damage from drawing Chocolate on turn 2
No,
too many times. He's also probably afraid of a Tyvis Mog coming down, so he's
no.
trying to get down the Chocolate before Cristian is able to turn off his ability to search.
So there is one more thing that I do play a lot of warriors. I've spent a lot of time playing the deck, and there's one thing that you do with an Edgar on turn 2 is you could Edgar into Zidane and take away the fat chocobo, and that does put a hamper on you. That'd be one of the few reasons why you would also rush the fat chocobo route on the spot also.
Yeah. It's interesting that he discarded Stiltskin there, and didn't keep that as his final card in hand after he pitched everything, because Stiltskin would have been a perfect card to untap with this turn when you're starting your turn. So whatever he has in there must be like really important. Okay, what are we starting with?
Oh,
Oh, well, he couldn't
having
discard that one. That'll explain it. Okay.
okay, I see. You know what? I see.
Okay,
You know
you
what?
know,
I,
okay, you know, I understand.
I see. You know what? I respect it. I'll respect these decisions you made.
Okay, so we're removing a bunch of cards, leaving just the Dryad in the break. What summon are we getting here? Chocobo to draw?
Chocobo to look for more characters, I guess, yeah. It wouldn't be a bad idea. There's nothing else
No,
you want. There's
he's
nothing
doing
else you want.
Chocomog. Yeah, Chocomog. Looks like we're just trying to find backups.
Nice.
I'm not pronouncing that card's name.
I think it's. Let me look at it real quick.
Mifui.
No, it's French.
Yeah, I know.
I happen to be French. Believe it or not. He said, "Why are you so good?" Skills. That's funny. Oh my god, these guys.
Oh my god, Lev 6.
That that's crazy.
If only we had played the Lena
If
before
only
going to combat.
we play the ladder.
Okay. So we're spinning the Citra. We put her right back on top, I believe. Probably because we don't even have the resources and break to cast her again. And we are playing the Lena.
Should
I
have done
mean,
that before combat.
that's honestly not a bad rip. These Firewater Warrior decks run a lot of EX bursts.
No, the funny one, they have so many EXs. Like if you're on the water side, the ice doesn't have a lot of EXs, but the water side has so many EXs. It is honestly a very good play to go with the Lena before combat because it's almost 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4 to get an EX off of the damage here. So this one drop backup is it's called millefeuille. A millefeuille is a French pastry, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
it's like
That
a dessert.
that is very very liked around the world. So yes, millefeuille.
I know Daniel is a big fan of Milfioi. It's one of his favorite trading cards.
Daniel is yes.
Okay. So, well, it looks like we're just probably going to get back in there with Zidane. I'm actually a little bit surprised he played the Lena last turn, considering he only had the one card in hand, the backup. If he just waited for the next turn, he could have just tapped the 2 backups for the Lena and then also played the 1-cost backup, ramped to 5, and then still um,
Yeah. Oh my
had everything.
god.
Oh, hitting a Tyvus into damage.
Oh,
You
that's
hate to
disgusting.
see it.
Oh, that is disgusting.
Yeah. Uh, right, because if Sidney doesn't use any of his backups this turn, he just would have been in the exact same situation, except he just would have had one more backup on board, right?
Yes, that's one thing, and also the other thing is that if depending on his draws, right, there's situations where you can actually storm off. So not only the fact that you're casting it for free, you don't have to spend anything. You're also like adding to a storm count if you really wanted to. For example, like if you go into like an Alexander turn, right?
Yeah. So we're selfie grabbing back this X-Star. Are we committing the X-Star? We do have the Fire Moogle to generate the Ice Mana for it, but it it feels really bad to do it just to kill a Zidane that's already drawn 3 cards.
Yes.
uh, we're cracking Edgar for. Why did we do it like that?
Well,
Surely we
Fury.
could have tapped. Yeah, surely we could have just tapped our backups differently, and then just
Uh,
hardcast the Furion.
I'm confused, honestly. But you know
And
what?
we cracked Edgar to save 1 mana, and we
Hey,
didn't.
hey,
Yeah, okay.
guy.
And then and Furion can't even attack this turn. What?
And he's going to pitch 2 cards.
Spending 4. What LB is this? We're overpaying for Zach?
I'm confused.
I.
What?
What?
What? He really doesn't want the this is not to be on the board anymore. I guess that is very
Wait,
expensive.
He better have something really good to free play off his Axstar. This is all I have to say. This is potentially the most expensive Zidane kill I've seen in my life.
Yep, and he's going to Chaos Walker. Okay.
And we're just getting a new one. So those two, having his backups up was actually relevant in this case then.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing the Lena line that I stated. So it did end up paying off for him.
Possibly, he could have just drawn those two. He could have just yeah, I needed these. Yeah.
Okay, so are we free playing anything off this Axstar?
I think he's saying pass or no. I guess no.
No. So then why did we crack the Edgar? We could have free played the Furion, which also would have prevented it from being double frozen.
Oh my god!
What is Cristian doing over there? He's got one card in hand.
Oh my god!
That was
an odd sequence.
I do not think that there was probably 10 ways we could have played that turn that would have ended up with a better board state than this.
And more cards in your hand, yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Also, I just want to point out, right? So even if he does this all very inefficiently, he also decided to play a Zag to ping for 3, and then an Axel to ping for 6, which does 9,000 damage to Zidane when he's at 5k, right? So you could have just played Leo, draw a card, and then do the Axel thing, and then also do 6,000 damage and still kill the Zidane in that case, So
yeah,
I'm confused.
Yeah. So Sidney's playing Mog FFBE now. That's a card Cristian probably wishes he had. Searching Divus. Grabbing the Citra. So the one awkward thing about Sidney casting the Chaos Walker the wheel there last turn is that it also would have been really nice in his hand right now this turn to use to search Luso to wipe this board. But that's still oh no. Oh wow. Okay. Cast 3. Rip another card. Get your Rosa. Untap everything. So last card in hand is Citra. We're going to cast her as cast 4. And then we're going to use that probably to cast, I imagine, Alexander, 1-mana Alexander to draw 2 cards. Trigger Rosa? Making sure to leave the Alexander in the break zone. That's a really good card in this matchup for killing Tyva, so it makes sense you'd want to save that for your Lulu.
Very true. Hitting Tyvus for 0 mana is really good, yes. So
Yeah.
here's, I think that's it, Alexander. There is an Alexander.
Yep, Alexander. We're going to draw 2. Of course, we will flip for Rosa before the Alexander draw 2 occurs.
That is correct.
So hopefully Sidney remembers that, because... And we're going to get a Shrink here off of the...
So Luso cast 5, so he'll draw a card still.
Yep.
So if he draws a Chocobo, he can Chocobo the Luso and then blast for 8,000 damage.
Yep, so yeah, we're digging 3 cards deep here, so there's actually a pretty decent chance we hit it.
Chocobo?
Okay, 3 cards. Did we find it?
You're on cast 5, my brother.
Yeah, Chaos Walker the Wheel also gets us there, if he has another copy of that.
Yep, they recognize it, it's cast 5. There's a Chocobo, cast 6. There you go, well done. And then cast 7. Draw an AK.
Okay.
Cast 9, cool. Cast 9.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we really need to keep counting at this point. The question is, if you're Cristian here...
Oh, is that user key? That is user key. Oh.
The question is, do you just scoop here and just go next?
Don't just whatever you do, don't burn any more LBs because I'm gonna cringe here. If you spend more LBs, I'm gonna cringe.
Yeah. So there's the demon coming down. I guess you declare wind? Oh no, did we cancel it? I didn't see.
I think he's going. Did you just Finad?
I'm guessing he Fianna, I didn't see. Looks like we might be having some stream issues. Okay. And we're scooping it up. So pretty dominate performance from Sidney still. I don't think he cast. I think he's still LB-less, right? Is he?
Correct. He hasn't needed to LB at all.
Yeah. So Cristian's down to 22 LB. Sidney is reprising his amazing run from the North Carolina Materia Cup this year.
Maybe he has an LB deck.
Doesn't have an LV deck again. Where he made.
Maybe he's practicing LB next for the next Materia Cup. You know, he's just practicing. Yeah. What happens if I don't bring any LBs again? You know, let's see what happens.
Yeah. No LB Sidney. It's the classic now at this point.
No LB Sidney.
He was one match away
from
making worlds with no LB deck. Now he's trying to become the Warlord with no LB deck.
No LB deck. I'd be impressed. I guess Cristian no less. You know, it's Cristian's no slouch. So that'd be funny. That'd be embarrassing. I get to make fun of.
Okay. So now we're going into game 3. Sidney, again, I imagine, will be going second. Cristian, I believe, is leading with Refia. And Sidney will be playing his Cat 8 list. Let me check out their ratios real quick before I make any comments.
So, Mr. Torrey, how do you feel about the current Cat 8 deck in the current meta?
That is an interesting question. It clearly has some legs. I have played against it some. I think it has a very lopsided matchup spread, to say the least. And I think it's not exactly clear what the exact ratios you should be running are. Because, like, both Adeas are good, but neither of them have specials. And then, like, do you run the fire cards? Because, like, the fire selfie is really good, but then, like, none of the other fire cards are... do you really want to sleeve up and put in your deck? Which squalls do you run? I think there's a lot of interesting questions. Which Renoa do you run? There's so many Renoas, right? Like, there's just so much name clash in Cat 8 and so few specials. It's very awkward, right? Like, do you run the Light Squall or not? Like, the Light Squall is a really good card, but, like, it's a light card, and it's named Squall.
And his name is Squall. Squall is such a good card.
I know, right?
There's so many matches when you don't want to have any resources drowned into backups, and then you just put a Squall, and Squall just plays everything. And if he doesn't get off the board, all of a sudden you just win the game. You know, so it's like a...
But there's other matchups where you play Squall and then he dies before combat. And then you...
I have no backup. I have no backups. I have no amateurs stuff. Your Chanteuse. Like, what do I do here?
Yeah, I know, right? So like, look at this. We're slamming turn 1 Squall. Oh my god, it's so scary.
Oh, yeah, it is
so scary, right? Like, Sidney just dropped his whole hand on the board, basically. Not his whole hand, right? He's only committing 3 cards out of his 7, so he's still gonna have 4 in there. But like, if Squall dies here, it doesn't feel great.
If Cristian draws and then pitches 3 and then puts down a backup that costs 7, I don't know.
I don't know, right? Like, I mean,
like, it's a plan.
to be fair, if you toto there, it's like kind of an even trade, right? Because your opponent's spending 3 cards, right?
Yeah.
And you're spending, 3 cards to pitch for the toto. But like, now you're at 2 backups and they're at 0, and you're just going to start out resourcing them because you've got your backup game going. Now, luckily, Sidney also didn't hit an EX burst there because Jesus Christ, that would have been tragic. So at least Sidney got a backup down because, like, notably, you wouldn't think that a deck is aggressive as this Cat 8 deck would want backups. But like, a lot of their cards are either odd costed, like all the Adeas, as well as there's the Seymour, who really wants you to have 2 different backups down.
Yep.
So like it's this weird tension between building backups and punching your opponent in the face as quickly as possible. Now, notably, Cristian,
Does
with
not have
3 differently named Warrior of Light backups, is looking pretty nice for a potential Refia next turn. Now, he did just discard a Refia there. Either that was the only water card in his hand, or he has another Refia in hand. So I imagine it was probably the former.
That's now the question is how many damage Sidney will put Christian at. Is it gonna be a 3? I don't think so. He might put him at 2. And because Sidney himself may play this Refia thing once or twice before he might match up, he might understand what his deck does, and then let's see what he does here. He has all the options. He has all the aggro options right now. It is up to him to see what he does here.
Yeah, I think if you're Sidney, you either put him to 2 or you put him to like 4, not 4, 5, right? Like you just try and just kill Christian as soon as possible, right? Because right now, right, Seymour can add back a guy. Seymour has haste. We go to combat. Irving swings, and you can get all 4 of these attacks in.
I think you go for it.
Yeah, at this point, um, oh, he's glad to see that Toto gone.
Oh. Is he gonna dodge all the EXs? He's gonna. Oh!
That is crazy. How many EXs are in this Refia build? Let me check the number real quick.
Christian's not even playing the. He's not even playing belt, so he's actually high on EXs. That's actually crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this is dramatic.
Well, this is probably gonna be the last turn of the game. Either
Oh,
way.
is that it?
Can Cristian stabilize?
He's hesitating. He's not dropping a total. I think this might be it.
Notably, if he'd only hit him once to put him to damage 2, he would have drawn Toto for turn and would have just wiped him.
Right.
So hitting to 5 was the correct decision here from Sidney.
Sidney knew. He smelled the total. he smelled the total. He smelled it. He's like, I know. I can smell that total. I can smell. Like I got hit him in the damage, and he did, and it's paying off for him.
Yeah, well, Sidney's played a couple games of Refia in his life. He's won with the Refia deck. He just knows where the Totos are in there. He can sniff
censor
them out. Yes.
He can censor.
Yeah, he's also had his face beaten in enough times to know how much it hurts. Just get put to damage 5 before your 3rd turn. I imagine if we don't have anything going on in this hand, we're gonna just slam a Luna Freya, right? Because we can still just Luna Freya, hit like an arc, untap some backups, play the arc. Hopefully, I don't know. The thing is, though, Sidney also removed Christian's whole break zone from the game.
Yeah.
There's no longer a Refia in there to recur.
So he has like 2 options here. He can either go for Luna Freya, and hope for an EX and getting something in, or alternatively, if he has 3 Earth cards in his hand, I think he has 3 cards in hand. If they're all Earth, he could LB Toto. But it does not seem like it doesn't seem like it's the case right now, though.
Yeah. So the LB Toto would cost
8.
8. Well, it costs 9, right?
9 total, yes.
9 total. Yeah, he would have to have 3 Earth cards in hand to do it. Currently, I think he has 4 or 5. Is we just scooping? We're not even trying for the Luna Freya.
I think he's mathing.
So if we, well, it's too late now. But so we hit Lena. Well, you grab the Lena, then you draw another card. What's the next card? It's not even gonna show us.
He said, "Oh, that's my EX. Those all my EXs," is what he just said.
Well, he also, if he had two King Tycoons in hand, right? You could play King Tycoon, grab Ferris, play Ferris, search Refia, play Refia.
That's all he has the mana for. But yes.
Go to combat. Haste your Ferris. Swing with Ferris. I don't know the exact math there.
So the exact math, let me tell you the exact math, good sir. The math is that Christian's just tilted right now. He's not gonna do the math. he's like, look at this misdragon. Look at this LB totem. Look at the other misdragon. He's just like, man, I'm done with this game, man. I'm so done with this. He just wants to do math though, bro. He's like, and he flipped the top five. He sees all those EXs. Like, yeah, that's it, dude. I'm tilted. That's
I guess Christian's thought process is that the amount of LB he spent is starting to catch up with him, and he didn't want to blow the Luna Freya
yeah,
if he was going to lose anyway.
yeah.
But bro, you like you need to win so many games now. Right? You got to take some risks at this point.
Uh, he has to win exactly full back. He has to win full back to back because Mr. Sidney is now at 3 wins. That means that he has to reverse a sweep. Mr. Sidney in a Warlords matchup. Now, I'm not saying it's undoable because I've seen a lot of Warlords matches go 0-2, 0-3, or 3-1, and then have a comeback. But it's definitely not going to be easy, especially considering what Sidney has left. So we had the we haven't seen Sidney on the belts yet, and that's what's coming next. So for the fourth game, Christian will have to not only beat one of the best belts player in the world, he's going to have to do this and then win three more on top of that. So it's a long road. It's a very long road.
Yeah, if there's one thing Sydney is known for, it's not losing on Barts, to put it lightly.
Oh man.
Um, yeah, I have played Sydney many times on Barks. He is extremely competent at this deck, to put it mildly. Um,
Yes. So Mr. Sidney, I've played him. I started talking to him the day when I played with him first time. It was in Kansas. The You might be familiar with the Kansas MC of 2025. You
yeah,
might have been there. I think you might have done something over there on
I
that
might have
day.
taken a trophy home. Yeah.
You might have taken this trophy and then back to Worlds. I'm pretty sure that was your first. That was the first one that you.
Yeah,
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 that was the year.
that was my first MC win of the season, so that's what
Yeah,
got me my world's invite.
that's when you got the big W there. So I met him there. I played him. We were like a 4-0 at the time, I think. So it didn't matter too much who won or lost. But we played the classic Warriors versus belts, and then I lost it 7-6. He took me out, and the difference was he drew two amateurs, I drew one. And then you know, that was like literally the difference. Sometimes it do be like that. It's a very close matchup, and then so I got to play against his belts before, and yeah, he's very solid on it. He knew his odds. He knew he knew when I was behind. He knew when I was trapping him. So what the play was, it was end of turn. I was already ahead, and I landed for a Zidane to see what is his land. At the end of turn, and I'll have it just enough to kill him. So he had a misdragon head, but had no way of casting it. So he literally dug into his he cycled through his graveyard and flipped and waffle to put it in his hand and then misdragon me. So I was like, oh, this guy right here, dude. He admitted he's like, I don't have no earth, but I have to gamble here. And then he did it. So I know that he's very, very conscious of cognitive of the plays and his odds. So he's a very good player. He's very also lucky, but he's also a very good player.
He is really good at hitting those EX bursts, I can tell you that. But
Yo, yesterday was insane. The dude went EX burst into EX burst into EX burst, and me and Mike were like, "Yo, this guy, that's the main character, dude. That is the main character. There's no other way of looking at it. That guy is actually just insanely good."
interesting that Christian discarded Carpenter here when he was on uh three backups, but I can see why. The Nash breaking the Sarah is pretty brutal. So one of the
Ooh,
big buffs to Bart's this set compared to the normal standard Refia list is, of course, that we got the new Cryo, which costs 3. Because notably, previously when you went in on turn 2 with your Bart stack, you would often just float the Sarah FFL mana because all of the relevant Warrior of Light backups all cost 2 or 4. So now with the new odd costed cryo that adds a card to your hand, you're able to just basically just keep one extra card over the course of your combo compared to normally. And just one extra card in this game is, as you know, a pretty big deal. But with the Nash popping the Seraph FL there, we're basically sending Sidney to last to last format and saying, nope, you're paying for your
For
cryo
everything.
backup.
Yeah, so one card in this game of FTCG is actually not a big deal at all, but in the early rounds, it is a big deal, and especially on the round on turn 1 and 2, it is an extremely big deal. So you want to the reason why this deck is so good, we're talking about the Warriors of Lights in general, is because you build backups off of backups. So you play a backup and then you play another backup off of it, and you play two more backups off of those, and all of a sudden you have a whole economy that you built for very low amount of cards discarded from the backups. However, if you are going to get taxed or losing the entire backup early on due to something like NAF, then all of a sudden everything becomes so much more expensive.
Yeah. So the rare Barts for Seraph FL line is not something you see very often. Sadly, this Seraph FL is probably not long for this world. So that is the final Seraph FL hitting the field. Oh, we might not crack the Seraph FL because this Nash has the ability that you can spend some mana to just break a backup. So if I was Cristian, I might just keep these backups off the field, right? You could use Nash, break the Lena, and then potentially like use something like an Azura, grab the Nash back, and then play it again, break the Seraphel a second time, and then just keep Sidney off the board.
That would be back breaking. Let's
One
see
might
what
even
he's
say
talking.
backup breaking. I'm sorry.
You're too good. You're too
I
strong for the rest of
apologize.
us.
Okay.
You're way too strong for the rest of us, Mr. TK.
Okay. So we're going with the Chocobo Sam. Um, can this search regular Chocobo? I believe it can.
Yes.
Yeah. So seeing as we're already ramped out on backups, I imagine we're not particularly interested in getting big boned Chocobo. Still grabbing the Chocolate, interesting. So I think that is even more proof that we are attempting to break this Nash on a following turn. Notably here, we could have cast the Evray. We could have played the Evray untapped and then played the Chocobo Sam, but it looks like we're trying to save that Evray for a turn where we're trying to boost our cast count rather than just getting the one extra mana every turn.
Yes, sir. That is exactly what he's doing, and the reason is because I've been flaming him about these things. He will sometimes not. He will have. He will require a big startup to the storm. So storm, once he goes off, you start drawing stuff, and then you start untapping. You play more stuff. You draw small things. It's fine and all, but there's times when you just need to get it started. And if you have a free backup to play on every, and then you're going to waste it, that gives you absolutely nothing to turn before that. It's a bit of a waste. So if you need to boost your cast count, just getting off going cast one, cast two, and then you go into Zidane into everything else. That's going to be untapping your backup. Then yes, definitely holding this cards in your hand is going to be a big boost. So you've been trying to learn how to play Mono Wind, and it has looked weak when you do it. Try to start envisioning your next turn a little bit more. Going to these decks because those counts, those free spells are really good when you do need them for a big storm count.
So interesting that Sidney didn't attack here. Mono Wind isn't really a deck known for excessive amounts of bursts, and there's no damage one ability in Cristian's deck.
So maybe the big brain play is that he's going to not attack, so that Christian doesn't hit an EX and forget that he has a way to break the backup. So
Yeah, so we had the Nash coming down there. Notably, because we played the Chocolate, we're locking ourselves out
Nash loop.
of the Nash loop, where we just Azura back the Nash and keep just breaking everything. So at this point, Sidney's backups are now actually safe. I mean, it's still not a great situation. What turn is this? Turn 4 or something, and Sidney's still on 2 backups with only just a couple cards in hand. Uh, he's getting massively out resourced, but Cristian hasn't really done anything particularly scary on his side either.
Cristian needs to actually get some value off of this. I mean, of course, you don't get to just draw whatever you want, but in this matchup, what you really need to start doing is getting down as a Don and start getting in some value while you're ahead.
Oh no! So Sidney just removed the Barts from the game, trying to dig 5 deep to find a Warrior of Light, and he whiffed.
Oh my
I
god!
have never seen that happen before.
Oh my- Is this wait? So what if we thought Sidney was the main character, but then in reality, Christian's the main character, and Sidney got 3 wins just like any villains do, and then Christian's going to reverse sweep him? Is this what's gonna happen?
Well, if Sidney's able to get 3 wins in a row, there's nothing saying that Cristian can't. But this is not looking great for Sidney. I'm actually surprised he discarded the Zidane for the Bart's trigger instead of just uh, dulling the 2 backups. Because having the Wind and Fire in hand could be useful for like casting whatever he could have theoretically found off of the Bart's effect. Whereas he's gonna have the water mana open up to him every single turn. But maybe he has like a Kukulin in his hand or something that he thinks he's going to need to cast here.
Yeah, but that's only one water backup for the Kuchilian.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lulu. What did he get? I couldn't see what he got.
I didn't see what he grabbed. I was too busy thinking about Sidney. So we're going to play the Evray.
Yes, sir.
For us cast 2, we're going to use Chocolate effect and then untap her. So she's got 1 counter. Are we going to continue casting here? So we're finally committed.
Okay.
Relentless especially. Okay, that makes sense. Interesting that we finally committed the Evray to the board this turn.
He's doing it because Chocolate is now active, so you
Yeah,
have
so
you have a reason to do double untaps here.
yeah. Yeah, I guess on the previous turn he did play Chocolate last turn, so
He
he
did play
couldn't
Chocolate
use
last turn,
Evray to start ramping the counters.
so what he's doing right now still makes sense.
Why are we? Oh, he's like, okay, I know you're gonna want to rip this. He has decided that he is no longer playing Refuge Control, and now he's playing Zidane Beatdown.
He's playing 2-drop beatdown.
Yeah, he's looking like the aggro deck with the more forwards on field and just the ability. He's got the attack triggers.
That's cute.
Sadly,
And
Zidane is a lot better if he can come down before your opponent ramped up all their backups. That way you can start ripping up the backups out of their hand before they cast them.
yeah. At the same time, though, let's be fair. I don't think he was playing on being on 2 backups on Refuge. You know,
Yeah, that is true. I believe there is the only 1 Nash in the deck, so having it come down right then, I don't even think he searched it off the Norse Talon. He searched Stiltskin. So
yeah, he just had it.
yeah. Sidney, based on his hand motions, he looks extremely happy about what's in his hand. Not at all frustrated and shrugging. Sadly, the Lulu is a 5k, so she is contesting the Barts. Barts is not going to be able to get in there and keep hitting each turn. What are... Sidney did bring an LB deck. Oh no, never mind. Wait, what?
He does have an LB. Crazy.
Wait, how did he... Did he pitch 2 for a 4-mana backup? Am I... I could have sworn I saw him pay 6.
Did he shortcut something? I'm confused.
Maybe he shortcut something. I could have sworn. Did he not discard 2 cards?
I think I saw him discard 2 cards and
Then he tapped 2 backups, right?
Oh yeah. No, he paid 6 for.
Oh, he Bart. Did he Bart special? I think he was. Yeah, he time magicked. The wall came from the deck,
Oh.
not from the hand. Okay, I thought I saw.
Okay.
I thought the wall came from his hand. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's what happened.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay, so I guess at this point, Cristian surely is going to start
Doing something.
actually doing things.
Type 1 draw card from after the chocolate. See what you get.
Yeah, there was definitely an argument to just get the chocolate draw before committing Rosa to the board, but he probably thinks he has.
He has his Tone Counter 3.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah. So cast 2.
Cast 1.
No, cast 1 was Rosa. Cast 2 is Chocomog.
Yeah. Okay. I probably need to refresh my thing. I'm like a couple of seconds.
Oh, join the. Are you in the the Discord stream? It's ahead.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise we're like behind the casting, and it's gonna like sound awful for the people.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So we did cast 3, Vaughn.
Okay.
Drew card, untap everything. Looks like we also spent our Chocolate counters to draw another card.
Yep.
So got a nice, healthy hand size.
And a ball that keeps growing.
Yeah. We've already used our Every this turn, so we don't have any more untaps on board. But it should be fairly simple to get 2 more casts here to at least see what Rosa's doing for us. Yep, there we go.
Cast full.
Yes, yep. Get Vaughn back to hand, draw a card, and then we can just play the Vaughn again for free.
Cast 5, and I'll trigger the Rosa.
Yep. So he because Vaughn is an entry trigger, unlike the summons, Cristian does get the order the triggers.
Mm-hmm.
We can't hear them, so we're gonna have to trust that they resolve their effects correctly. Looks like we're resolving the draw first, and we hit a Lusa just like Sidney did.
Main character energy. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. Sadly, we already used our Chocobo this turn, but we do have the Mog in hand, so we can just search another Chocobo to, flicker our Luso. We're going for Zidane.
Okay. I respect it. Cast 6.
At this point, it's looking pretty rough for Sidney. But this is, after we saw Nash break 3 backups, it is to be expected. Sidney's played 6 backups this game and still doesn't have Warrior of Light Colors online.
He have half of the colors. Like, oh, Miss Dragon, that's tragic. Oh no, oh no.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see. You don't want the number one thing you don't want to see is amateur. So the second worst thing you see is Miss Dragon.
Yeah. Well, luckily, Monowind sadly has no ways to actually cancel backup Toto.
Yep.
So, Cristian's board is actually like under pressure in a way. Sidney could just, if he has the right cards in hand, just wipe this board right here and then stabilize to an extent.
Cristian just passed turn with a full board with 5 backups and discarded 2 cards for hand size. So even if you get hit with by the backup toe, I don't know. It's
yeah. Well, yeah. The only thing is, Monowind does have a finite number of boards it can create. So if you're able to wipe their enough times, you can like stop them from killing you. But I don't know, man.
It's looking pretty rough. Let's be real.
Yeah, it's not looking great. Especially because I think Sidney's also behind in deck out, or at least he will be if Zidane gets a couple more hits in.
No, he doesn't have a lot of options, honestly, the best play is just total 70. He has it. By his body by his the way he's moving. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, I don't imagine anything else is going to really work. There's probably Gafina in Christian's hand, considering just how much access he has to his deck. How many cards did he draw last turn? Just an incredible amount.
Enough that he had to pitch to at the end.
He Vonned twice,
Yo.
Lusoed, and Chocobo. He drew 4 cards plus the 2 for turn. He drew 6 cards last turn, plus ripped another 2 out
Not
of Sidney's
including
deck.
the two pseudo cards that in on the Zidane too. That's
Yeah. So Sidney's thinking. He's probably thinking, why did my deck betray me? But
how damn it.
So I'm assuming there's not a Toto in his hand, or if there is one, there's not an Earth card, because I think he would have done that already. Refia. Are we just gonna try to spin? I imagine if we do that, we're not getting the untap and draw. I imagine it would just be we'll discard Athena instead. Ooh, Lena.
He said I have to.
There's no way this resolves, right? We see the Mist Dragon. Like, oh,
Yeah, just save the time here.
yeah. Like, why are we even bothering to ask him? What do you want to target? we know it's not happening. Often, I often tell my opponent, like, honestly, it doesn't matter to me what you're targeting. Let's both save us some time while you're like thumbing through your break zone.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I don't even care.
It's yeah, it's just saving us the trouble, you know, just not being him and just letting him know like, hey, whatever it is, guy, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. So it looks like we didn't have the Fina.
It's so he's missing Earth right now, so
yeah, so we have 4 attackers from Cristian. I imagine one of these is about to get spun into the deck.
cast one, Typhon.
Yeah. Obviously getting rid of the Refugee here to force the spin as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what do you target here? Like, obviously the Rosa is the most threatening forward.
But you can't get
but targeting her doesn't really accomplish much.
It's probably Ludo, honestly.
Interesting that we're dulling the Barts too. We're not even interested in blocking with him.
I'm confused. He needs mana for something?
So he's got 1 card in hand. I'm trying to think of what that 1 card could be that he feels like the wind and fire backups are more useful than the water.
Then yeah.
So we're chocoboing whatever was being targeted by the Refugee, it looks like. It was Zidane.
Okay.
And Refugee is going bye-bye.
And he's on cast 1 right now. He's on cast 2 right now because of the Chocobo. He draws.
Yep.
And then he's going to play the Zidane again.
Yep. That should trigger Rosa, untap all the backups.
Trigger 3, Rosa on top.
Yeah, we're gonna Mog first just to use our mana.
Yep. So still on cast 3.
And Sidney has seen enough.
He sees what he's about to lose. He's about to lose that wall. He's like,
Yeah.
what does that do? What is the kill? It's like, yeah, it breaks it back up the cost 5 or more. So things that names either Tyro or
Or
uh,
Seraphel.
those will go. He's like, I'm done.
Okay, so we're going into the fifth match or fifth game. This was, I believe, the other Cat 8 deck, Cristian on Cat 8, against Sidney on Chaos Arc. Was it?
Game 5 is going to be. Let's scroll down real quick. Let me just write this. Let's see the other chat.
I'm pretty sure that was the case. Yeah, I can see Sidney's definitely on Chaos Arc. Yeah, Sidney choosing not to bring Realm to the matchup. Disappointing.
Yeah, he's
disappointing.
he stressful held on the deck yesterday.
It's funny. Okay, so in this matchup, obviously we know that the Cat 8 deck wants to be the aggressor, but there's quite a few colors in there. There's 3 colors, which is not what you want to see when you're playing against the Chaos deck. And while you don't have to commit the fire cards to the board, Selfie is your main source of haste. So, like, you want the haste to be able to pressure down the Chaos Arc deck before they can just do all their control shenanigans. Going to be really difficult, I think, for Cristian to be able to get in there without dying to 50 EX bursts.
Yeah, but EX bursts, we're supposed to see a lot of them in some of these Warrior Light decks, and then
Yeah,
you know.
that is true. That is true. There is only 19 bursts in Sidney's deck, which is a lot, but I've seen Chaos Arc decks with even more than that.
Just complete with, yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's possible that Cristian can just get an early Seymour down and then just rip Sidney's hand apart. That card can be pretty brutal for the Chaos Arc player to deal with. But the problem is, if you don't play anything next to the Seymour, it's the juiciest Chaos steal in the game.
Yep, that is not what you want. Turn 1/2 backup is pretty good.
Yeah, can't really complain about that, especially because it lined you up perfectly for playing a Seymour on the following turn. That is what Cristian did when he was playing Mono Ice, and he wanted to commit the turn 2 Seymour. So the fact that we did see both backups come down, notice he discarded a Squall for the Ice backup. So that's a good indication that there's a Seymour in Cristian's hand, or that he's interested in doing something nasty on the following turn with that second backup. Right. It's also possible that there's just a second Squall in Cristian's hand, and he recognizes that he's going to need an even amount of mana on the following turn anyway, so you might as well just play the Ice backup.
Yep. That is definitely open ideas, but if he has Seymour, he's going to Seymour, honestly.
Well, I definitely do not doubt that. Especially because there's a decent chance that Sidney just plays like a second backup here.
Yep, that is.
Oh, Thornton. That's expensive.
That's
Interesting. Grabbing the Cancel Leviathan. Is there a 15?
I'm not sure.
He just wanted to.
Okay.
He just wanted the water
Yeah.
mana. Okay.
He's just using that as fodder. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. The pitch 2. Tap 1. Play a card. Triggers for 1. Hey, imagine.
Who could have foreseen this? So Chaos is currently what, 7 mana?
Yep.
So we will not have enough to cast him there if he's in hand. We will be 1 card shy.
He's going to live or die off with his EXs here.
Yeah, but I did see Cristian did top deck a Sid Waff on the previous turn.
Then
So
he's not going to live or die off. He's just going to die off of his EX. Never mind me, good sir. You know what?
So I think there's going to be a Sid Waff. I do not see it in his breakdown. It looks like he discarded a Dea Irvine for the Seymour. So I
Yeah.
imagine that Sid Waff is going to be coming down here pre-combat, especially after seeing the Astrologian cast.
It has to be an EX that kills, and Levy's one of the few defensive EXs that can get him off the board. But I don't know. I know he's going to pitch a card for the Sid Wolf.
Sid Waff for Sid Waff, classic.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Which one? What do you want?
I think you definitely hit the Earth, and then you hit the only backup that does something.
That does something.
So what are we discarding here from Sidney?
Sidney right now is not enjoying life.
No, he is not. Baited. Got the chaos in hand anyway. Okay. So
Also to explain the mood, like the both players are like playing and laughing. They're having a good time.
yeah, well, Cristian was absolutely positive that he needed to play that Sid Waff pre-combat because
Yeah.
surely Astrologian stacked an EX first, and that was just not the case. Not the case at all. So the interesting thing here is though is that because Cristian had to discard the card for the Sid Waff there, it's kind of like he had to pay 2 for the Seymour trigger instead of the normal 1.
Yeah.
So even though in theory Seymour is like generating 3 crystal points of value every turn, in turns where that like extra odd cost that Seymour requires, his upkeep cost, like in turns where you can't efficiently pay it, it's kind of like he's only generating 2 mana per turn, which like honestly for like what is a 5 cost, arguably 6 cost forward, isn't that impressive. You really do just want to be paying the 1 forward each turn if you can.
Yeah. Here we go, and we see the Une, which is a good play, slowing down the Simo a little bit, but he's just gonna come down because Prisoner still has 2 backups. Because he did spend the card to get a Seal off and play, now he does have 2 backups, which is very useful to him.
Yeah, so looks like we're just recommitting the Seymour to the board. We're gonna pay the 1. I imagine we're gonna dull freeze the Une here.
And the Earth backup, I imagine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Sidney is almost certainly wants to top deck something to do with the Seymour, because if he doesn't, that Une is going to die next turn. Seymour does have the ability to break forwards.
Has to be good, so something like Anima will save him.
Anima is pretty good. Kukulin, just to blank the Seymour at start of combat. He could also just play a Leo and pray, Luna Freya and pray.
Alternatively, if he has enough summons, he could play Aiko from the LB if he has it. Yeah. He's paying 3. He's digging.
Yeah, looks like he's just gonna play Leo.
Not what you want to be. Draw what you get, Sidney.
Siren. Okay.
That's pretty good.
I dig that.
There's a form of defense. Yeah, there's definitely a form of defense.
Yeah, so Siren does have a high probability chance of protecting Sidney's board from being targeted. Sadly, Siren only works on forwards. So if he just goes for the dull freeze on 2 backups and like say the discard effect or the discount effect, Siren won't do anything. But that does protect the Une, right? So
protect the Une, it's a big deal.
And Seymour's effect is just 1 trigger. So if either of the effects target forwards, Siren will trigger. Sadly, if he uses both effects targeting forwards, like say for instance he tried to like break Une and then like dull freeze Siren or something, it would still only trigger once. Now there is still a lot of forwards in Sidney's deck. He has not seen a single chaos yet, and if Siren flips a chaos here, Sidney's going to be extremely sad. That could possibly lose him the game on the spot.
Oh, fine. There you go. You're looking at pressure now.
Yep. Probably start ripping some backups out of there. I don't think there's any fours in there. There might be a Garnet.
He does not
What?
face them?
Why? What?
He
Cristian?
doesn't have it? Cristian, did you read your codes?
So, if you choose the two characters first, you can then attack with Irvine and then get the summons if you really want to get rid of the summons. Again, we're paying 2 for Seymour, which isn't what you want to be doing. I'm assuming we're doing 2 and we're going for the break. We don't have to go for the break. If we just want to get the guarantee the 2 backups, we can do that. And it looks like we didn't try to break Une. Sidney is choosing to trigger Cristian for no reason, just to discard the card.
Thank you.
Okay. Interesting that Cristian went for the guaranteed value. Of course, he wouldn't have gotten the Dull Freeze in that case, right? Because he would have flipped Kuseth. So it was the correct choice. But there is an argument that, like, in hindsight's 2020, right? You don't know. And do we really think that those 2 backups are going to be valuable this turn? It's hard to say.
He also happens to be a pretty mana-hungry deck, though, to be fair. So it does have some value. Especially since it's 0 cards. So the difference we're having 4 CP and 6 CP does make quite a bit of a difference.
It does. It definitely does. I wonder. I think there did we see if there was an anima in Sidney's break zone already? Because I
don't think I've seen one yet.
Okay. Because that would be a pretty good add back, especially since we have the 2 water backups with the Yuna.
Yeah, definitely.
We could like remove the Seymour, and then both players draw a card.
If there was an enemy there, he would have targeted that over the other things that he targeted there, I think.
Yeah.
And that's why he wanted for the Irvine. He didn't want to attack with it. He just wanted to get the remove on the summons.
Yeah. But the thing is, because of the Sid Waffen board, you're not really that afraid of
EXs.
the EX burst. So I would want to be pressuring, right? I want to kill Sidney, especially since you knew you weren't going to be targeting the Une. You knew that you're going to start getting outscaled.
Yeah. You know what, TK? Me too. I would have done the same as you, but you know.
Yeah. So interesting also not to lead with the Seymour attack. All right, like if we hit a Kukulin EX burst here, we're gonna be really sad.
Yeah.
So I think that's generally a more valuable trigger than the Irvine trigger, because even though we're not afraid of the EX burst drawing cards, we're still afraid of the EX burst removal.
Yeah, so I think the thought process is he didn't want to have Une go into a showdown with Simo. So if he's gonna get some type of summon, he's gonna do it now, so it taps Une, so it doesn't have a 9K versus 9K showdown.
But he didn't even target summons this time, right? Because he feels. Remember, he has to target characters this time, otherwise Irvine's gonna just get blocked and die.
He's trying to see if he's going to try to add back the summon in response to actually I guess like he can move characters, so it doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then the Mist Dragon is still in the graveyard. That means that he could just block, tap, get the Mist Dragon, and then prevent damage on the Une, so he cannot attack with the Simo.
Yeah, I think it depends on what's in Sidney's hand, but chances are, it's worth triggering the EX burst and then randomly discarding.
Yeah.
If you think the Mist Dragon is better than the worst card in your hand.
Yeah, Mist Dragon is definitely because it prevents damage. So you can actually block with the Une, and now Simo can auto attack.
Yep.
Well,
he always had the opportunity to Une back the Mist Dragon and then block in response. So we're just going for the backups again. The question is, do we block with the Une?
You have no reason not to, because you can just cast the Mist Dragon and then prevent damage on him. So you'll just win a trade.
Yeah, the only thing I think he would be afraid of is maybe if there's an Eden in Cristian's hand, he could chain it in response. He has exactly enough Cat 8 cards to discount it to cast it and blast the Une off the field.
Yeah.
But even if you do that, Siren can protect. So
yeah. So Siren makes it very safe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Luck. So we're going to need to grab back an Earth card with our Une in order to cast the Mist Dragon. Mist for Mist, block. And we have finally, after Seymour has ripped our soul out over the course of the past, like, what, 4 turns, gotten rid of him.
The Siren is keeping him alive.
Yep. That is a load-bearing Siren on the field. And Renoa's getting in. Sadly, we're not at damage. I believe it's damage 5. So Renoa does not have her bonus ability to block to dull everything.
And he brings it back up and passes.
Yep. So this is looking
very good.
Pretty good for Sidney.
Seymour's off the field, and Cristian has no way of protecting it. So
yeah. Now Irvine can continue to get in here every turn, and there is a limited choice of summons in Sidney's Breakzone. I think he basically just has the Mist Dragon. So there's only so many options, but next turn, if Irvine attacks and removes 2 characters, he's only going up to
9K.
9K.
I think
Une, he can do the Mist Dragon trick again and just block it.
Yeah, he just needs to draw a Earth card this turn, and then he'll have the TP for it.
Yeah. So we're flipping Squall into Squall. You love to see it. Funnily enough, Sidney still has not seen a single Chaos, but the moment he sees a Chaos, it's going to be looking pretty bad. We're just going for Anima.
Not bad. Both players draw a card.
Yep. Of course, drawing a card is probably better for Sidney than it is for Cristian.
Cristian doesn't want anyone to draw cards right now. You know, if you have a zero, you don't want people to draw things and have an out to your guy. You know, so that's kind of like the lifetime of all the aggro players and all the all-in players. Is like, all right, the less options we have, the better I'm off, because when you die and I don't. But
okay, so looks like Renoa's going to get in there, and he's going to draw a card because he sacrificed the backup to make it so that when she damages, she draws. And Sidney's not going for the EX Burst.
And there goes the Raijin. So now when he plays a Cypher, it is going to have haste unless he gets misdragoned.
Yeah. I forgot that Une bounced that. I was like, didn't he play that on turn 1? Okay. So the question is, did we finally find Chaos? And it looks like the answer is yes. I don't know if we want to pitch Toto. Okay, so we're going to grab back Arc first. Yes. That makes sense because Sidney wants to play around a potential Eden line where Chaos can die on the stack before he has Arc in hand.
He does have an Eden in hand.
So this is it. Does it? And Siren whiffs it! Oh my god!
Character!
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, wow. Okay. Unfortunate.
He's still far behind though, just being real, but
yeah.
That's fantastic to see.
Yeah. Here's Irvine again. Goodbye Chaos and goodbye Chaos, I imagine. There's no way you don't rip out double Chaos, right?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. We care more about the Sirens, apparently. I mean, to be fair, we can attack and remove the Chaoses too, right? So.
Yeah, it's just absolutely hilarious to see, but yeah.
There's no way we don't get rid of the cat. He has Noctis in his LB deck. He can just grab it back. Am I crazy? I mean, I do like getting rid of the arcs. I'm not gonna lie, but
if he looping chaos is still pretty good.
Yeah, he can just chaos steal your Irvine, right? He has enough resources for that, I think. Play left. Now, wait, Sidney's at damage 5, so he actually gets the Renoa's effect to dull all of Cristian's characters.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so Cristian can no longer block. It also dulls backups. And when she attacks, Sidney draws a card. That's very funny.
All that value.
Yeah. So we're going for Mott. Not a bad choice. It effectively gives us 2 blockers, right? Because of the Renoa. Oh, okay. We're like, no.
Buckshot. Let's go.
But you can still poke with the
Une.
The Une here because of the Brave.
The guys outside are having a very good time.
Well, this is also a very just funny situation.
It's been crazy. It's been wild.
Oh my god! And we hit the EX burst. How many? There's 6 EXs in this deck.
EX in his deck, and he still has it.
And we've already seen one of the squalls.
That's main character energy for you.
Oh my gosh! This is incredible.
that's one way of describing it, yes. That's
Sidney's life total is going down. So we've got the Zell.
It's gotta be
and I believe we have enough Cat 8 characters on Ford, so that he is attempting to do 9k straight into Une. He could use Mist Dragon here to save her, but that doesn't feel great.
It's one left to block with. Yeah, that's the whole point is to be able to block with it, but you can save it on the price. He's checking if it has any Mist Dragons left. Actually, did he remove him? What was? Well, I don't know what's left in the grave. But I'll go over them and look at it.
I don't think he removed both of them. There was 2 of them in there. This has been one heck of a game.
Yeah, I mean, this has been entertaining, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of anime moments. Okay. Oh, we're just canceling it.
Okay.
Sounds good. And the free Renoa. Holy. Grabbing back Irvine looks like we want to continue being able to special. We can kill them not potentially with that. Chaos.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So Irvine's going to go up to 9k. Do you go for the thing? You don't have the resources to go for the Une trick with the Mist Dragon. We didn't use Une effect?
What?
Oh wait, Sidney's like, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. One moment. Excuse me, mind me, coming through. Okay, so question is, do we top deck the chaos here? If not, I imagine there's going to be a Lunafreya coming down. There's 1 chaos left in Sidney's deck. It does cost only 5 right now.
There's also an echo angle if you really can't, if you don't want to get one or anything else. I think
that is true.
I think there's one walk in his deck.
Yeah, so you could echo here. It would kill probably you have to kill the Renoa, right? With the arc.
It's hard to say, honestly.
Well, the thing is, otherwise you die.
Yeah.
right? Although not necessarily, right? So if you play the Echo and you arc, say, the Irvine, discards the 2 cards out of Christian's hand.
Which is there's another Irvine in his hand
Yeah.
too, so it
Yeah.
does matter a little bit.
It does matter. Then when Renault attacks, you could use Une to add back Leviathan, and then use Leviathan to cancel the dull trigger to keep you alive. So there are other options.
But let's see if he even thinks about it.
Yeah, he's got choices. Notably, Luna Freya as a choice does feel notably worse when there's a Sid Waff on board.
But also like Sidney did admit to me that he's not the most well-versed Chaos Act player. So I'm not sure if he has the Ico line in play right now. But he's picking up his LB, so I imagine that he's thinking about it at least.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sidney has 28 LB left, so he's got tons of
He has
options.
options. Yes, he has a choice of there
Oh,
you
he's
go.
looking at her. Yeah, he's like, "Yep, this card does exist." He's just so used to not, having LB. It counts banished too, removed
Yeah.
from game. So he's got a massive pile of summons, especially because we know Christian was prioritizing the getting rid of the summons out of the break zone because of the Une.
There you go, P6.
Interesting to get rid of the Irvine there. I'm assuming he has some other way to deal with the Renoa.
That was gonna be my target too, but
It must not be an anima, because I imagine he would have kept the water backups up in that case. Oh wait, what am I thinking? Christian's not a damage 5. I was so used to Sidney having the Renoa. I was like, surely the Renoa has the dull effect. It just, she's not doing anything. Selfie is interesting here. I imagine that Sidney's thinking about potentially canceling this.
I just can't see his graveyard. I don't know what options he has, but yeah, it's a way of going about it.
I believe there's a cancel live in there. So, but Christian should not have the resources to play the Quistis this turn, right? So it looked like he used Selfie to target the Renoa, so she's up to 9k. So Aiko will die if she blocks, and Une will trade. That's not a great trade for Une, especially because you want to save the Une to block the cell. So it looks like Sidney's going to damage 6, which is scary.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wanted to draw that Hekatana anyway.
But he's also tapping with a lot of
Yeah, he's gonna be topping with a lot of resources. He's got 3 cards in hand. Une's about to add a 4th card to hand, and he's gonna have 4 backups. That's a lot of resources. Yeah. So really, if Sidney sees a chaos here, it's gonna be pretty rough for Christian.
I think he's just dead if he sees the chaos.
Right? Yeah, because we have the Une. There is the arc in the break zone from last turn that the Ico dumped. I know he probably wants to save his LB, but even if he doesn't have the Chaos, I would really like to see a Luna Freya just to dig 5 and try and hit it.
Agreed.
Because it's with only 2 cards in hand, yeah, it looks like that's probably what we're seeing here.
That's fair.
Yeah, you'd rather not hit a Thornton because you might randomly lose the card. But he does have a Kusith in hand, so no matter what happens, he can always just Kusith back the Chaos either way.
Yeah, you'll have the option at the very least, no matter what.
Yeah, because no matter which one of the two is ripped, you'll still have access to the Chaos.
Yeah, get rid of Ace. LB.
Yeah, I don't think we need the mono wind LB anymore. So,
top 5.
Top 5. Whiff. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's speeding up now. Yeah, not much point in taking the Thornton.
Oh, Trigger and EX. Oh, that's not a lot of kills left in his deck, huh?
Yeah. Notably, Luna Freya does let you choose the order of the cards, so since the size of his deck is so small and he's probably not going to be searching again, there is actually, like, use in ordering your deck.
He should have played it slightly better, honestly, but yeah.
Yeah. I imagine we're not going to get there, and that the game's about to basically end here. He just overpaid for Chaos, right? He just paid 5. No, it is 5. It is 5. I'm so used to 4-color decks. So if you were Sidney, what do you think you would want to steal?
I actually don't know. That's what he's giving him? Okay.
Yeah, well, he's taking the selfie. He let Cristian have a choice. I think we're probably going to Une for the arc right now because we really do not want Quistis being played.
Yeah, you just don't want Chris to have options right now. You want to make him top deck, so the 2 cards in his hand, since getting rid of one of the folds also guarantees him emptying his hand. He has no way of playing for the following turns, right? So
yeah. The only awkward thing is that both of these swords have really nice entry triggers. Yeah. So we don't really want to kill either of them. We kind of want them to be stuck on board. But Zell's entry trigger is probably the weaker of the two. So I think I might have killed the Zell. Because Renoa being able to get back anything from your break zone is really nice. I haven't been counting the Renoas though, so that might be the last one.
Yeah. Unless Cristian draws like a big out here, that honestly is looking pretty it's looking pretty locked up.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever untap with Une, Chaos, generally speaking, you're winning that game.
Yeah, most of the time. Let's see what he pulls out here.
Is this a Kuja, maybe? Yeah, Kuja. Okay, so Cristian's just trying to slow this down. And looks like Seymour frees the Une. So that's another 5 LB down the drain, going down to 17 from Cristian.
Yeah, but it's the last game if he doesn't win the next one, so it does make sense though.
Yeah, like if you don't use it, you lose it. So you might as well, with your tournament life on the line, you got to do everything you can to win. And we're getting in there for the 8.
So he's going to trade with the Echo? Yeah.
Trade with the Echo, yeah. Looks like we top deck Garnet, which is just brutal. All right, you can just grab back the Arc, even with Une being tapped.
And have an extra body on board.
Yeah, extra body on board, plus Cristian has no cards in hand, so I'd probably hold off on arcing right away.
There's no lightning rods in his deck, so yes.
Yeah. What is... There's... Sidney, you're not warping that Garnet.
bro.
Game is gonna be over before she hits the board.
He thought the top trolling.
There's no way. I'm trying to think of what he could be doing with like an earth backup and a water backup.
You thought of like the fucking thought about it, bro. How did your brain goes like, I'm at 6 damage. I could just win here by just locking him out of everything else that he has. I'm gonna wild this and see what happens in 3 turns, bro.
Yeah. Sadly, he wasn't able to get a Tyro down earlier because that would have been pretty nice. For having access to like all of the various LBs in the game. Like normally,
including skills also strategies, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like in Warlords, right? Or not? Sorry, right? In regular Final Fantasy, even if you're running Tyro, you can't afford to like run like 10 different off-color, LBs. But in this format, because you have them for your other decks anyway, you're like, it's okay if this deck steals a couple of them here and there.
Yeah, the versatility here is very, very nice added value.
Right, like no other deck is going to be wanting the Ico probably, so you can discard your Icos or flip over your Icos for the LBs from the other decks.
Sure can.
Is he?
He's doing the chaos. He's trying to see if he's gonna use the active availability on it, so he'd have to use it now.
It's not a bad idea, but you also really don't want to target the Kuja here because then Une gets frozen again.
Yeah.
I'm assuming we were going to combat, and that's why it happened as well. Okay, yeah, here we go. Garnet is coming in. Looks like we didn't attack. Both of their decks are looking mighty thin. I don't know who's currently winning in deck out, but it's very close.
I'm pretty sure Sidney has drawn a little bit more here.
Yeah.
He's about to pick up his deck. We'll wait to see.
Yeah. So
he looks like he has like around 12 cards left.
Yeah. So the thing is with Cristian is that he can't really afford to go for the Adea ability here. Because if you do, you're just going to mill your deck. And Sidney has I believe he has a Mist Dragon in hand right now. So if you were to go for it, Sidney will just remove your break zone from the game in response, and you're not even going to be able to get the kill.
Yeah, I think he's about to show in.
Why are we grabbing a Fujin back? You can't. I'm sorry, Raijin. You can't use Raijin special unless you control Cypher. So we might as well arc here, right? When we know the card's stranded in hand.
He's reading it.
Uh-oh. Whoopsie daisy. Oopsie. The problem is you can't really afford to play Cypher either, right? You don't want to... Wait. Okay, so Adea mills is cost. That's not part of the effect, yeah. So it does remove everything. Yeah, it looks like Sidney is definitely losing the deck out war. So he is actually, sadly, I know Chaos Arcade players hate to do this. He will actually have to attack. I know it's cringe. I know it's unfortunate. But I didn't know that Chaos Arc players actually knew how to do it. But he is going to have to put some bodies on board. I imagine he's probably hoping that he can find another Mott in his LB deck. Because you really, when you're at damage 6, you really do not want to be doubling your forwards to be pressuring your opponent.
He has it to spend, assuming he has more than one.
Yeah. Notably, Sidney is also not running the crap, what's it called? The 3-mana water monster that untaps your forwards each turn. That would have gone a massive a Sanctuary Keeper.
Yeah,
that would have been extremely helpful in this matchup.
I mean,
with how many turns
right? That's not usually the main plan for that deck, but yes, it would have been an option.
It looks like we're going for Titus. The question is, are we going to draw off of this Titus? The draw is optional. Yeah, we are blowing through LB like a madman as Sidney. That is our what?
Because he can.
11th. Yeah, that is our 11th LB. This
Because
game.
he can.
No, that's not his 11th. That's his 13th. I forgot about the Mott. Holy. We've done
Yeah,
Titus, Ico,
Ico,
Lunafreya, and Mott. He's going to be down to 15 after this game. I think Cristian's actually going to be ahead in LB.
Cristian's gonna be dead though, so
Whoa. You don't need to think about it like that. Yeah, it looks like Sidney did not go for the draw off of the Titus. If he was really worried about deck out, he also could have put one of his own backups back in the deck. But yeah, there is the argument just to stack the Raijin on top to make sure that, you're not hitting the burst.
that is fair.
So with damage 6-2, with Sidney having what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forwards on field, he is technically threatening game on board if he has any source of brave, right? Because he can brave the Une, attack with Une, in before blocks, add back arc, and then arc the Seymour. So Cristian has to do something right here, right now, or else he is dead.
He's very, very dead, it looks like.
Yeah, he's only got 2 cards in hand. He could potentially Kuja again if there's another Kuja in there. And Kuja is good at stalling out turns. He doesn't have to stall out very many more.
It's 2 exactly. Unless
So,
you
yeah,
draw.
Yeah, I don't see any way for Sidney to put cards back into his deck. So that is his current amount.
He has 2 swing outs, basically. And he's on damage 6.
Yeah. Sadly, there's not like a Zidane or something in this Cat 8 deck to just rip a couple cards out to unexpectedly win the deck out war.
That would be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. If there was even just a wind card in his hand, he could potentially do like Zidane LB, but no wind cards, no way to generate wind mana, except Sid Kramer. But sadly, Sid Kramer cannot cast wind mana for Zidane. Cristian, yeah, Cristian is like, he's thinking. He's in the tank. He's like, is there any way I can live here?
That's his last one of the tournament, otherwise.
Sidney's not looking too confident either, though. You can see he's like shaking. He's been on 6 damage for quite a while. It's I can tell you, it's very stressful on both sides of the board. Knowing that you're just 1 point away from killing your opponent, and you're just like just finding that one right top deck to kill them. But on the other hand, like thinking you've stabilized, but knowing that at any moment they might just have the one card that wipes you off the tournament.
Yeah. And he's already lost with one of his best decks, so he just wants to close it out right here, right now, and not worry about it. Full CP? What are you casting? What are you casting with full CP?
Victoria for 7. We can kill Lunafreya. And then we have 3 more? I don't think there's anything we can do with that 3, though, right?
I'm confused.
Because Sergi's already on board. What other LB can we cast with that? There isn't one, right?
He's swinging. He's trying to get a second body by swinging.
Oh, I guess we're playing... Oh, Sergi's in main too. Okay.
Because he has to block him.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't really have a choice.
That's funny.
So we are alive for one more turn. Une is going one more turn, not untapping. Sune looks like she was in the Northeast this last week. Very frozen.
Very frozen.
So I'm trying to think of what Sidney could top deck here that would be relevant. There's no arcs left in deck. He could potentially top deck like a Kuseth, but I don't think there's anything in our break zone we want back.
And he can do a total of 3 damage right here.
Yeah, but even if he does he has to be careful not to die on the crackback. I really hope there's another Mott in that LB deck. The amount of LB cast this game has just been absurd.
Yeah, when you cleanse him, and once your last game, none of it matters, right?
They've been holding all of the LB for this one game. Sidney's gonna go through all 28 in one game. Cristian too has just been blowing through with reckless abandon. Although I don't know if it's really reckless for him.
I mean, for him, it doesn't matter. If he loses this, there is no LB.
Yes.
So he has to live through this.
Yeah.
He's holding all the deck out. So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Also, think about the fact that if earlier he didn't kill his own forward, and then Sidney drew, he will have 1 less card right now in his deck.
Yeah. Notably, whoa! He does not have enough Cat 8 characters. I think this is only doing what, 5 or is it 4? You normally don't see it for the half price.
Yeah, the 2 it's only 4 then.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. You can, however, shoot someone who hasn't attacked yet. Yes, it's 5k. To disincentivize attacking. But you could also just attack with Chaos here, and then, like, knock this back Chaos, and then play Chaos. Right, so that way if they block, because they don't really want to block Chaos. Although they're not going to shoot Chaos, I guess, then. Probably. I didn't see who he targeted. Did he target Titus?
When it's just choosing him if you do. Divide 5,000 damage among them as you like. Oh. So he gets to split damage if he wanted to too.
Yeah, he could do 2-3, and that way if either Titus or Chaos attacks, they would die.
Yeah.
But I think Sidney's actually fine with those trades, because that's one thing that can't swing back at him the following turn.
Is he going main too?
Looks like we're going main too.
Oh no, he's still in combat, technically. Could be.
He could still be in combat, but I don't know what would be relevant for him to grab back here. Sidney's like, you cannot stop me from getting back Arc forever. I will have access to Arc next turn. And Sidney gets to look at his deck and shuffle it. Of course, he did put those cards on the bottom of the deck in whatever order he wanted a while ago. So okay, so
also this would be let me announce this. This is my first time seeing someone shuffle a 2-card deck back and forth. I'm seeing it, so yeah, okay.
I once offered for I was during Nationals in 2024. I was playing against Viridian on stream, and I had a 2-card deck, right? And I was shuffling it, and then I just put it down. I didn't even offer it to him to cut, and then he was like, we were on stream, and he was like, whoa, you're not gonna offer that to me? And I looked at it, it was just like, bro, I'm drawing both of these cards next turn. It's funny because when the casters they thought it was the reverse. They're like, oh my god, Torrey's offering Sidney his 2-card deck when in reality Sidney, not Sidney, was asking for the 2-card deck as a joke. They understood that we were joking around and laughing, but they didn't
You thought it
realized
was
that we
the
got
other
it
way around.
backwards. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Okay. So, I completely missed what happened, but it looked like Sidney lived. So we've got. Did Sidney lose? Sidney has 3 attackers, and he needs to deal 4 damage here. Well, to be fair, he doesn't need to deal 4 damage. He needs to deal enough damage that Cristian has 1 card left in deck. I don't know how many cards are in Cristian's deck. If there's 4 cards in Cristian's deck, Sidney could potentially win here. But I'm still really surprised he didn't play like another LB last turn.
He played a selfie.
Does he really only have the 1 Mott?
I would imagine so. Also, I wonder how much LBs left Sidney has right now, and what he has in there.
That is true. He has blown through so much of it this game.
I'm so curious. I'm actually going to look at it.
Okay, so yeah, David, we can see him out there checking Sidney's LB there. While Sidney's thinking through his final turn of this game. He needs to win right here or mill out Cristian enough to cause him to lose on his draw step the following turn. The tools for doing that are damage and animas. Notably, Sidney has to pay for any animas using cards in hand, because if he uses backups to pay for anima, he will kill himself from decking. The draw only occurs if you only use backups to cast it. This is an awkward situation for Sidney to be in for sure. But luckily, I mean, it depends how you think about it. But there's because damage is no longer just like a straight out for game for Sidney anymore. He should know whether or not it's possible for him to win here. Oh shoot! It looked like there was certainly more than 4 cards left in Cristian's deck, so I don't think Sidney can pull this out. Welcome back.
I have returned. They still have some LBs left to burn. Yeah, it looks like Sidney has to kill him right here, right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for Sidney to do that. I'm not gonna lie. So we're leading with the chaos attack. From what I can tell from Cristian's deck, there was more than 4 cards in there. Now, of course, you can, if there's an anima, it's in his break zone. He can use that to force some draws as well out of Cristian's deck. But you can only do that so many times, and you can't use backups to pay for the animas, because that would also cause you to die.
Yes.
So, a bit of an awkward situation here. When you looked at Sidney's deck, did you see if there was any Earth LBs left in there that he could have cast last turn? Like a Noctis or a...
There was there is.
Okay. I'm confused why he didn't get the extra attacker down then. Maybe he felt like he needed the Mist Dragon, but you know you can't Mist Dragon the break zone, you die. So, like, and there's no summons to cancel. I'm very, and he didn't, when he blocked, he didn't use the Mist Dragon to protect his guy. So I'm actually very confused.
He could have definitely put more bodies there.
Okay, so we're putting him to damage 5. Looks like there's a few more cards left in Cristian's deck, but I don't think he can get the rest of those out. Right? We only now have 1 Ico grab back for summons. we don't have a Tyra, right? So like if we had a Tyra on board, right, Zinane LB would have been really good here. But we were never had the time to play a Tyra.
They're doing some complicated math here.
We're doing we're doing some very complicated math. It's interesting.
Struggling.
It's interesting that Cristian didn't just block, right? You know the only way you lose here is if you die right now, presumably from deck out. So like you should every card in Sidney's hand, like theoretically. Right? Like you can look through the break zone, look through the damage pile, and figure everything out. You know what he can do, right? Like Sidney's effectively playing with his hand face up. So you would know that like the only out really is Animal.
Oh, he has many cousins in his deck. Okay. Yeah, you just have to like untap it and he just wins here.
Yeah. What was that? 5 cards? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we need to mill 3 cards. I have no idea how Sidney's going to do this. Oh, sorry, no, we don't need to mill 3. We need to mill 4? Unless Sidney can like put that, Kukulin into Cristian's hand and force him to start casting it. I don't think we're getting there.
Scoop it up.
Yeah, we're scooping it up. Oh my god. I have never seen Chaos Arc lose to Mill. Oh man.
I just saw it once, and here it is. It's congratulations, Sidney. Well done.
Yeah.
You've unlocked another achievement.
Yeah. I just want to point out though, Siren betrayed Sidney so hard. If that Siren trigger didn't whiff, the only Siren trigger of the game did not whiff, the game was over on the spot.
That was crazy. That was actually main character energy that Christian pulled up on that one. I don't know he didn't do. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're both basically out of LB. Sidney's only down to 17. Wait, surely Sidney spent more than that, right? He was at 28 before. He spent
11.
8. No, he spent 13. Because he did 1 Mott, Luna Freya, and then Tidus and Ico. Tidus plus Ico is 8. Luna Freya is 11, and Mott is 13. So he should be down to 15.
Let me go look at it real quick.
Right, unless he was no, wait. I know. Go. He hadn't cast any before this game. He did all 15. No, he was at 32 before. He was at 32.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it said 20 out of 30. I was thinking 20 out of 32 is what he started at, but
yeah. So 15 is correct.
No. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
He got half his LB
in one game that he lost.
In a game where he got to tell everything.
Yeah, so hopefully he's got some LBs for his Bart stack left in there. Sadly, Chaos Arc and Bart's share a lot of the same LBs, right? Like the Luna Freyas, the Noctises, the Leos.
I checked earlier. He does have. I mean, he has the main ones, which is gonna be Tidus and
Yeah. Wait, no, didn't he also Leo? Didn't he Leo earlier too? Maybe I'm thinking of a different game. He blew through a lot of LB there.
Yeah.
There's not much left. But then again, Cristian did too, right? Like he Kuja'd, he Surgi's twice, he Victora'd.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
And I saw that in his LB, he has another Victoria and another Kuja. So he actually had ways to like replenish them, but yeah, it was getting really close, honestly.
Yeah. So now for game 6, looks like we're getting the Refia mirror. Notably, I think Sidney's pretty heavily favored in this matchup. Because they both have access to Lena, right? And Sidney especially has access to Lena, which means that EX bursts aren't as backbreaking. So Cristian having a higher density of EX bursts isn't nearly as strong as it would be in, say, other matchups. Yeah. Additionally, Sidney's deck is just way more consistent at just ramping to a bunch of Warrior of Light names really quickly. Just due to how the Bart's is. Like, Sidney can actually have a backup line of 5 Warrior of Light names, which just makes his Refia just so much more potent.
Yes.
Right? So being able to get to Refia first and having a better Refia makes it pretty favored, I think, for Sidney.
Yes. So this is actually a run back. Sidney played Cristian. It was in round 1, and they did have this matchup, and they did have Sidney win that. And then after the World Series, Cristian asked for more practice on Refia, Well, Sidney got 2-0. It was hilarious. And then Sidney's like, way to bring my confidence, bro. It was, it was one of those. So no, but in the mirror match, I think right now with the new crowd, it is going to be a favorite in towards Sydney. Being able to get that out and just bring it in is so nice for the deck, honestly. And you know you're not getting punched because your opponent is also playing Warrior of Light. It's just such a slow, uninteractive deck unless you literally pitching and playing the Zidane as a way to pressure. Otherwise, it's you're not doing anything to each other for like they're playing gentleman's agreement game for like the first 3 full turns basically. That's what they're doing. So we're about to see though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's not really much incentive to like slam an early threat that isn't named Bart's. Like an early Zidane is nice, especially if you can rip out the backups, right? Because backups are such a big deal in this matchup. But it's dangerous, right? Because you don't necessarily want to be presenting the Zidane as a threat until you already have the Len on board, which Sidney did lead with. And the fact that he played Sarah FFL over Lena should tell you something about what's going on in Sidney's hand, right? He doesn't feel like he needs the searches to get set up. Or it could also just be that there's another Sarah FFL in his hand, which I can see. But like, yeah, so the Zidane is a little bit risky because it can die. There's several ways for it to just be sniped off the board. And it doesn't actually generate any real card advantage, right? The way it generates card advantage is by hampering your opponent's ability to set up, and therefore denying them resource generation in the long term.
And there you go,
So,
Sarah.
but sometimes the Zidane just rips something, and then they just draw the exact same card, and it did nothing.
Yep. So this is Sarah to search for the belters.
Yeah, it's interesting that he led with the Lena over the Seraphel last turn. He could have just played the Seraphel first, right? Pitching the other Seraphel, and then went in with the Barts, and then used that to get some stuff out of his deck. Because since he has this extra, odds mana up off of the Lena, he probably wants to use it this turn, but maybe he already has the Corral. No, okay, so he's just doing it like this. The one awkward thing about this line is that Sidney does not have access to any wind backup. So, like, if his Bartz dies here, which is possible, he's going to have a rough turn next turn. It doesn't look like that's happening here. It looks like we're just using the Ferris to search a backup, which is an extremely expensive way to search a 2-mana backup, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Oh my god, is he about to get Zidane?
I imagine so.
Is he getting Zidane?
Are we losing this Bartz? Nope. Okay, he's just like Ferris trigger and then played nothing.
Ferris trigger.
Notably, Sidney can just grab Refia here and put that Ferris like on the top of the deck, and then make Cristian draw it again when it's really not doing anything.
He's gonna get the backup.
Oh no, he's spending 3. That looks like Refia to me. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Right, like even if Refia gets Amaded here, Cristian's spending 4 to do so, and so yeah, you still lose the Ferris. It's a terrible trade. Right.
He's so far ahead right now.
Yeah, and the Refia is basically free, right? He spent 3 mana to cast her, but now she's generating 3 mana and drawing a card. So there really wasn't much point in not going for the Refia there, assuming he has anything else in hand to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we know he has the Light Bart, so we can always dig for something to do. Right.
He's going to Alk here. Oh, he's gonna pass. Oh, he's
just passing. Oh no. Oh no. The question is, do you use the Barts here? I think you do, because it's unlikely that Cristian. So the one thing is, because the combat as a step doesn't really matter here unless you're going for Refia lines, which Cristian obviously isn't set up to do yet. Baiting Sidney by attempting to go to end phase to get him to use the Barts is a way that you can use him, get him to tap his backups to maybe like not want to cast like a Mist Dragon or something.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's not happening. Was it bait? Was Cristian just trying to get Sidney to commit? Nope. Okay.
No big brain plays.
No. It is risky, obviously, because if Sidney doesn't take the bait, you just lose your whole turn anyway. So the one benefit for Cristian for not playing anything is that now it's harder for Refia to trigger her effect since for the draw, since there's nothing to spin on the board. Looks like we're getting the wall. And is this able going to find a Bartz? It does. Okay, so that should be able to get us our last our Luneth out of the deck. And since Luneth will come in tapped, that will get us the 4 Dull Warriors of Light for Refia to draw. Did he accidentally flip too many cards? Why are we not taking the light parts?
Is it flip 4? I believe it's a flip 4, is it? He flip one too many.
Oh, he flipped one too many. Okay. Luckily, Sidney accidentally seeing one extra card isn't going to change anything because he's about to search and shuffle his deck regardless.
Yeah. The difference is between the light bounce into the graveyard rather than a wind bounce.
Yeah. Although, to be fair, the light Bartz isn't like a terrible top deck later. I mean, for one, assuming if Bartz lives, it's good. But even if he doesn't live, it's still like a discount Odin. Oh, well, that was a good top deck.
Not bad.
Interesting that he didn't like attack with Bartz or anything there. But I guess there's no real reason to start hitting yet, but Sidney's just so far ahead that even like 1 or 2 EX bursts I don't think is going to help Cristian out that much, especially when Sidney's also got Lena on board.
I think he's going to tease him next time. That's what he's going to do.
He could have teased him there if there was any water cards in his hand.
If you wanted to, you could have.
Yeah. Although, why commit more resources into this board? This is already threatening enough.
Yeah, he has to control it, regardless.
Yeah. And it's not like Cristian's going to be able to get a Refia. Even if Cristian managed to get all the Warrior of Lights on the board right here, right now, and then try to go to combat with Refia to like draw a card, it's not happening, right? Like pre-combat, Sidney's Refia is just going to spin Cristian's. So this is a matchup that being proactive is just really useful in. Just being the first one to commit a Refia on the board is a big deal.
Yeah. I think we've reached a point where nothing really matters unless he managed to one-shot Torrey and then come back into the game slowly, but otherwise, like, he's just very, very dead here, honestly.
Yeah. He could maybe, if he has a Toto in hand, he could Toto this board, like, pray, but, like, first of all, I don't think he has a Toto in hand. And even if he did, Sidney's got all those backups up. He could potentially have an Ahmad or something. Okay, well, we're scooping. Cristian can see that writing on the wall.
Yeah,
and that will be the set. Yeah, like as we said, the Bartz variant it's extremely very explosive. It's very consistent.
That was right. A little too good, a little too strong. Here we go.
Yeah, like a single Seraphel cascades into like 3 or 4 backups. It's pretty impressive. So that will be Sidney going back in getting to the finals, and he will be competing against. You said it was Corey.
Corey, yep. Corey is the one who sent him to the losers bracket to begin with. Yep. So that'd be it. The two of them have the rematch.
Yeah, it's going to be the rematch of the weekend. Do you think that Sidney's going to be able to take his knowledge that from this last match and from the previous one and use it to come back? I know you said it was pretty rough for Sidney at the end of it, right? He lost a couple games in a row.
He lost 3 times on your take back to back, bro.
Yeah, so do you think he's going to use that knowledge to decide to maybe bring different decks?
Honestly, he could and he should. So the thing about Cristian's like he is. We went to get some groceries yesterday, and then Cristian decided to stay home. And then at some point I mentioned, like, yeah, I bought for fun. I bought the World's Championship deck. I don't need to have anything there, but I bought it anyways, and I was playing it a little bit. And then while practicing the fire water monsters into his Refia deck, because he hasn't really played against it, because I just didn't play it, so no one really plays it. I 7-0'd his Refia on the on the monster deck, and then he was like, "I don't know what to do. This is crazy. This is so good. Torrey deck is unstoppable." Well, it was the world champion, but
Yeah.
it's like very similar, right? So I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." And he's like, "I don't know what to do." I'm like, "I just switch decks," and then so he plays the monster deck, and I play Refia. I 3-0'd him, and he got to start seeing. It's like, "Oh, you have to play more aggressive with the Refia. You have to like actually go out of ways to do certain things at a certain time, and you have to understand that this timing." Involved in this matchup, and then he's like, okay, so we go back and forth, and from that point on, he started to understand the matchup a lot more, and then he was able to get wins on both sides, but it was looking pretty rough at some point, but he definitely got to learn. So uh, I mentioned to him that Cristian has a lot of experience against the monster fire water monster deck. Refia is good, and fire monster is also good, but he has experience on it, so you do whatever you want with that information, and he decides to not play today. But Koi is not the same case. So that deck is still very good. So he might bring against Koi. He might not. I imagine that he does. But we're about to find out in a few minutes.
Well, historically, the Firewater monster deck has had a very favorable matchup into Refia.
Yeah.
It's as we were talking about Kansas, right? Like it did. That was the finals. Was me versus Mike, and he just got, you know, his deck wasn't
Yeah.
doing any favors. To be fair, he bricked like a carpenter, but
He definitely he told me he's like I didn't play the game. I'm like that's how
yeah, yeah. I mean, he didn't play the game. I'm not gonna lie.
because I was there, but I was watching the game. I was doing other stuff, and then but then I asked him, was like, hey, how did your finals go? And he's like, I didn't play the game. I was like, yeah, he got to play the game. I didn't get to play the game. It was not fun. I did not have a good time. I would not recommend. Will not do it again.
It's funny because his semifinals match was against the Unideck, right? And like he'd beaten Una, and I was like, Mike, you ready for the finals? And he's like, well, I just played the finals because that's gonna be my hardest matchup of the day, basically. And I'm just like, you sure about that?
Oh my god, that's funny. That's awesome.
Basically, no, he was in spectator mode for for the grand finals there.
That's so
Yeah, yeah. Monsters versus Refi is not really Met Refi favored. The one thing is if you're playing the World Championship decks out of the box, the
yeah,
Monsters deck won't have Lena, which is a pretty it's extremely relevant card in the matchup.
yeah.
Um,
That was one of the things. That was one of the first things I fixed. I took out all the bounces, bounce engines, and I went with the more solid.
the more streamlined, like aggressive version.
Yes.
Yeah, the card quality in Waterfire is just pretty crazy. Like every single once you get into the mid game, every single thing you're top decking is just crazy, just nuts. It just,
Yeah.
like your opponent's dealing with Clive into Fury and into Realm into Goblin into Blue Worm into Witch, and you're just like every
Yeah.
single card is just an amazing top deck.
Every card is either a removal or something that draws. That draws for
or
removal. So it's kind
or
of like
or both.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, like Witch's removal that draws, Goblin's removal that draws. It's just all just great stuff. Clive is removal that can draw if you wanted to. So no matter which cards you draw, they all do the same thing, which is draw cards and kill things.
I
Okay.
think he's avoiding playing fire water monsters while you're watching and commentating.
No stress.
It's interesting. I asked him, I was like, how you gotta play one? You gotta play it later? You gotta play it? He's like, no, I don't want to disappoint him. Not live.
One moment. Let me DM Sidney. Tell me he's a freaking coward.
If he gets it right here, right now on stream, I'd laugh so much. I would laugh, dude.